You have to go back. Can't stay. Go back. Hey, I'm Sapphire. Want to hear something scary? While I love tales of malicious ghosts and legendary creatures, some of my favorite paranormal stories are about ordinary people. Stories that might make you believe, even for a moment, that something happens when we leave this earth. Like our next chapter, which comes from KS in Scotland. During a very cold winter when Kay was 8 years old, she developed a very serious chest infection that hospitalized her. She was constantly coughing and struggling to breathe, so the nurses advised her parents to leave her at the hospital for a few days. The walls of the children's ward were covered in happy cartoon characters, which made the rooms feel warm, despite the sterile smell. At the end of the ward, there was a single room with windows looking out into the ward. Inside was a small girl in a pink nightshirt and pajama bottoms, with no hair and a drip hooked up to her small, thin arm. That's Amy. She's been here for quite a while. The next day, it was playtime after lunch. Kay pulled out some comic books that she had brought with her and caught a glimpse of Amy through her window. She waved the book to her, and Amy nodded vigorously and motioned for her to come in. "Can I go in her room?" Kay asked her nurse. "Of course. That's very sweet of you. Most of the other children won't go near her." Kay entered Amy's room and they instantly became great friends. Amy loved to sing and they made up silly dances to some of her made-up songs. The day flew by and it was time for lights out. "We're going to have even more fun tomorrow," Kay told Amy before heading back to her bed. Later that night, Kay was awoken by a small hand shaking her shoulder gently. She opened her eyes to find Amy, standing beside her bed. "I need to go outside. Will you help me?" Kay looked around the ward. There was no one else there. No kids, no nurses, just her and Amy. Before Kay could make sense of what was going on, Amy took her hand and they walked slowly down the hallway. The entire hospital was empty. Where was everybody? The clocks along the walls seemed to be ticking much slower than usual. "What are we doing?" "Too scared to go on my own. I can't go alone. You were nice to me." After what seemed like hours, Kay and Amy finally reached the main entrance, and Amy let go of her hand. "Should I come too?" Amy shook her head. "It's my turn. You have to wait for your turn." Thinking it was a game, Kay asked if it would be her turn when she came back inside. Amy shook her head again, sadly. "Are we still going to play together tomorrow?" "I don't know. You have to go back now." "I'm not going back without you. I don't want you to get in trouble." "You have to go back. Can't stay. Go back." For a brief moment, Kay turned around to look towards the corridor they came from. It looked so much darker than before. She turned back towards the entrance, but Amy was nowhere to be seen. Realizing she had no other choice, Kay made her way back to her bed. She noticed that all the clocks seemed to be stuck at 3:35 a.m. As she climbed back into her bed, Kay glanced over at Amy's empty room. What was she going to tell the doctors, the nurses, her family? The next morning, Kay awoke to the nurse clapping her hands to wake everyone up for breakfast. Kay looked over at Amy's room. The curtains had been drawn. As Kay ate her breakfast, Amy's parents came rushing in and she overheard the nurses speaking to them. "What time did we lose her?" 3:36 a.m. A very special thank you to KS for sharing this story with me. Like this video if it gave you the chills, and don't forget to subscribe to Snarled and our sister channels HissyFit and Slaytrix. If you or anyone you know have any unique paranormal experiences, send me a message on Instagram and I might feature your story. And if you dare to follow me, my links are in the description below. Until next time, sweet dreams.